We got some breaking news today on the Aegon the Conqueror show. Writer Madison Tomlin assured fans that he's still furiously working on a Game of Thrones prequel about Aegon the Conqueror. Game of Thrones ended back in 2019. The prequel series House of the Dragon just wrapped up its second season just last week, and there's another prequel show, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, coming next year. Things are happening in Westeros. And now we know that HBO is developing more shows in the background. Just about a week ago, Game of Thrones creator George Martin said that the network was developing 7 different shows, 3 of them live action, and 3 of them animated. We don't know which, if any of these, will eventually make it to the screen, but HBO has developed and then abandoned Game of Thrones spin off ideas in the past, but clearly the network is interested in exploring more. One of the shows we know is in development is a live action prequel series about Aegon the Conqueror, the first Targaryen king of Westeros, who conquered and united the Seven Kingdoms, minus Dorne, if we're being particular, with his sister wives Rhaenys and Visenya, over 100 years before the events that we see in House of the Dragon. Aegon's story is very different to the mythology of Martin's world, and very important, so it makes sense that HBO would potentially want to dramatize it and bring it to the screen. Now, we know House of the Dragon is wrapping up with 4 seasons, and I can imagine an Aegon the Conqueror show is shortly going to be coming after that. House of the Dragon has told us a bunch about Aegon that we didn't know, most notably that he was inspired to conquer the Seven Kingdoms because of a prophetic dream about the White Walkers overrunning the place if a Targaryen ruler didn't unite the realm. Like House of the Dragon, and Aegon the Conqueror show would be based on Martin's book Fire and Blood. I very much doubt that every spin-off HBO is working on will make it to air, but I suspect Aegon will make the cut. The prequel series is being managed by Madsen Tomlin, who also wrote the upcoming sequel to The Batman. When asked on Twitter or X whether the show was still happening, Tomlin responded with a gif of Kermit the Frog working furiously at his typewriter. So yes, the Aegon the Conqueror show is very much still happening, which is very exciting, very, very exciting. He said, quote, "That one is very early days where I'm currently writing the script, currently doing a lot of great back and forth with George," Tomlin said back in May. He also went on to say, "In speaking to George, it became really clear. This is history. Treat this like it is what happened. Unlike the original series, I don't have thousands of pages to go off to adapt. I've got a couple hundred that I'm really focused on, and in those pages of Fire and Blood, there are a lot of clues. It kind of turns into doing Napoleon or doing Alexander the Great or doing some great historical figure where we know a lot about the guy. We know where he was, we know who he conquered, we know who and how he lived, and we know how he died. That all becomes the plot, and then it becomes my job to go, but what did it mean thematically? How did it feel? What were the emotions when this person died and this person lived? We don't have the context. We don't know what anybody said," end quote. I definitely agree with everything he said here, but if you ask me, House of the Dragon is starting to go too far off the source material. So if the Aegon show does end up happening, I really hope that Tomlin and his team don't miss the opportunity of what makes the book special and interesting while digging into the details of the show. Are you excited to see an Aegon the Conqueror show?